All right, today we're putting on our detective hats and diving deep into BigBear.ai, ticker symbol BBAI. We're going to be decoding the signals because right now, the charts are telling a fascinating story, and we're here to figure out exactly what it is. So let's get right into it. Think of this as a detective case. BBAI is standing at a major crossroads, and the data is littered with clues. Our job? To piece them all together and see if we can figure out which path this stock is about to take. And our case begins right here. BBAI is stuck in what we call a consolidation phase. After a whole lot of action, the market just can't make up its mind. Are we going up? Are we going down? It's a classic tug of war between the bulls and the bears. Now, the really important thing to get is that this pause isn't just happening out of nowhere. It's coming right on the heels of a big, strong rally. So you've got investors who bought in earlier, and now they're cashing out and taking some profits. That's putting on the brakes a little bit. To really understand the full picture, we've got to look at how we even got here.
Any good investigation starts by looking at the backstory, right? To make sense of what's happening now, we have to look at the clues that are hidden in the stock's very recent, and let me tell you, very volatile journey.
And wow, has it been a roller coaster. The stock absolutely ripped higher from July into late September, topping out at $8.48. But since then, it's pulled back quite a bit, closing recently at $7.22. So after all that drama, it's sitting on a pretty modest 4.3% gain over those 3 months. And this right here shows you the drama perfectly. On 3 different days, the trading volume just went nuclear. We're talking over 230 million shares changing hands each time. These spikes, they're like footprints at a crime scene. They mark major turning points where conviction was incredibly high for both buyers and sellers. This most recent spike on October 10th is a huge piece of evidence. The stock shot all the way up to $8.80 during the day. But then, sellers came in with so much force, they slammed it all the way back down to close at $7.22. That is a massive reversal, and it tells us there is a wall of sellers just waiting up at those higher prices. Okay, so let's zoom out from all that day-to-day chaos for a second and look for the bigger long-term clues. If we're really going to crack this case, we have to see what the underlying trend has been doing for months. And to do that, we need to understand a key detective tool, moving averages. Basically, these help us ignore all the daily noise and see the real story. Think of it like looking at a choppy river. The moving average shows you which way the main current is actually flowing. So what are the moving averages telling us? Well, both the medium-term 20-day average and the super long-term 200-day average are way below the current price of $7.22. This is really strong evidence. It tells us that the big picture trend is still bullish. The foundation here looks pretty solid. But this is where the plot really thickens, because when we zoom back in and look at the short-term clues, all the evidence starts to conflict. And this creates the central mystery of our case. The long-term view says one thing, but the immediate picture, it is a whole lot messier. And this is the heart of the conflict right here. You've got some clues pointing up and some pointing down. On one side, an indicator called the MACD is positive, which is bullish. But then you look at this super short-term 5-day moving average, and it's pointing to weakness. It is a true tug-of-war playing out in the charts. So to try and break this tie, let's pull out another tool from our kit, the RSI, or Relative Strength Index. The best way to think about this is like a car's tachometer. It's not telling you how fast you're going, but it tells you how hard the engine is working. Is the stock running too hot, or is it about to stall out? And the RSI reading is, drumroll please, 57.22. And you know what that means? It's right in the middle. It's squarely in neutral territory. It's not overbought, suggesting it needs to cool off, and it's not oversold, suggesting it's due for a bounce. So instead of breaking the tie, this clue just adds another layer of uncertainty. The market is truly, totally undecided. So what do we do with all this conflicting evidence? We've got a bullish long-term trend fighting against a messy, conflicted short-term picture. Well, let's piece together a final verdict. We can do that by identifying the critical battle lines, the exact price levels that will tell us who is finally winning this fight. The first number you absolutely have to watch is the support zone, right between 710 and 715. This is the floor. Think of it as the line in the sand for the buyers. As long as the price stays above this level, the bulls are still in control of the situation. And on the flip side, we have the ceiling, That's between 755 and 760. This is the level that the sellers are defending with everything they've got. For the stock to get moving higher again, the buyers need to find enough strength to punch right through this ceiling. So it all boils down to these two scenarios. If that floor at 710 holds, the bulls could regroup and launch another attack on the 760 ceiling. But if that floor breaks, the bears win this round, and the price could easily fall down to the next support level around 672. It really is that simple. The next big move depends entirely on which one of these levels breaks first. So what's the bottom line? The analysis shows that BBAI is just perfectly balanced on a knife's edge. It's trapped between that floor and that ceiling. And what that means is, for now, a wait-and-see approach is probably the smartest way to play it. The real signal will be when it breaks out of this range, one way or the other. So there you have it. That's the story the technicals are telling us. You've got a bullish long-term case that's fighting against some serious short-term weakness, and it's all hinging on just a couple of key price levels. All the evidence is on the table, which leaves us with one final question to think about. What's your verdict?